it's actually finally on the news that it is a very high likelihood that Jeffrey Epstein didn't actually kill himself. This is the first time this is being talked about. The public narrative was always Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in prison, but finally the mainstream media is questioning the narrative. I guess the conspiracy theorists, the retards like me on the internet, just fringe retards, were actually correct.
So that's possible espionage and a blackmail situation. Why is the prosecutor saying that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered?
Well,
Why are they calling that a murder?
Yeah, this is something that's brand new. We just
brand new, huh? Brand new. No one saw this one coming.
Saw this document in the files from an assistant U.S. attorney. It raises all kinds of new questions related to this, on top of crazy things we know about Jeffrey Epstein's death. And this follows a document that apparently was put together announcing his death that was dated actually the day before.
They can't silence the conspiracy theories anymore. Look, I was like, I don't think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. The mainstream media is like, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, open it shut. No, there's so much evidence. Kash Patel said so too. All right, listen, there's nothing to see here, nothing to see here. He killed himself. No questions asked. And, you know, a lot of retards on the internet, like yours truly, were like, no, actually, I don't believe that for a fucking second. I'm sorry, man. Any Hillary Clinton acquaintance that quote-unquote kills themselves is going to already raise some red flags, but you're telling me that this dude killed himself in a cell while he was literally being monitored for suicide? They took the shoelaces out of his shoes because he was a suicide risk, and the camera stopped working while the guards were pissing, and in that 1 second, he managed to get rope somehow. Like, dude, it is literally crazy hoax. Like, there's no way he killed himself, and the media was literally pushing this the entire time. They can't anymore. They can't anymore. You know, you can call me conspiracy theorist, but you can't call me wrong.
Which raised some eyebrows. We've seen video of a mysterious individual in orange making his way up the shoe stairwell at 10:30 the night of Jeffrey Epstein's death.
Yeah.
I learned from the documents that the official inmate count that night dropped from 73 inmates to 72.
Oh, my.
The guard who dealt with that says now that they have no memory of why that inmate count changed.
That's
so there's
weird.
a lot of suspicious things going on in addition to what we know about the medical examiner's office.
Yeah, we might show you that at a later date.
Yeah, the medical examiner's office. Like, I love how these guys are catching up. Like, you know, it's ironic. Here they are, literally 6 years behind me. And I'm just a blue retard on the internet, okay? All right, and it's not just me. It's Alex Jones said this. Asmongold said this. All right, no one's fucking buying this shit, okay? No one's buying that Jeffrey Epstein was just some random little perverted guy who had some rich fucking friends that were all retarded, and he killed himself in prison, and he trafficked hundreds of victims to no one. Like, no one's believing this. Like, remember, that was the public narrative a year ago. I think people don't realize how far we actually got. You know? We keep pushing this constantly, and we are getting closer to the truth.
Video of the guy in the orange. Why would the chief medical examiner have to sign an NDA after examining Epstein's
great
body?
question.
Is that standard practice?
Probably because he was an intelligence asset.
This is the first time we've seen this related to a giant case, so I can tell you some things that don't.
Also, don't forget that the actual original coroner report said he was strangled and then changed it to he hanged himself. All right, never forget that one either.
Don't make sense for the medical examiner's office. We know that the chief medical examiner didn't perform the autopsy. She had an individual in her office perform the autopsy.
Oh, my.
And the noose that was at the center of this, Michael Bodden, the forensic pathologist who was hired by Jeffrey Epstein's brother to observe the autopsy, said that there was no blood on the noose, even though there's blood on Jeffrey Epstein's neck in the
how does that happen?
photographs. We're learning from the documents that the guard who cut Jeffrey Epstein down says he's not sure which noose was given to the investigators, and DNA testing was done. It may have been on the wrong ligature. It may have been done on the wrong noose.
How does that even happen? If it's not a giant cover-up. Again, I think that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset. I think he was working for joint intelligence between the Mossad and the CIA and the MI6. I firmly believe that at this point. Working for this global left agenda, which is why in his files he was pushing the COVID shit before COVID happened. He was pushing all the environment garbage. He was pushing the mass migration thing. You know, he was allies with powerful leftist elites around the world, from Ehud Barak, leftist prime minister in Israel, to Bill Clinton, leftist president of the United States. All right, he was buddies with all these princes and wankers, and Keir Starmer's buddy, Lord Mandelson in England. All right, I'm not even kidding. It's terrifying how connected he was. And now suddenly people are like, wait a second, he wasn't just some random perverted rich guy who killed himself in jail? I love how they're literally 6 years behind. It's honestly horrifying. So it turns out a lot of people are stepping down everywhere.
Fox News alert, the Epstein blast radius is expanding.
Oh, boy.
And more names added to the list. Larry Summers, a top operative for Clinton and Obama, today announced he's resigning from Harvard at the end of the year.
Wow, another Republican. I mean, oopsie poopsie, it wasn't. It's almost heartbreakingly ironic that it's literally all leftists. Like this dude's files came out and exposed thousands of leftists around the world in high up positions
after getting exposed in the files. And Bill Gates is saying sorry.
Oh my.
In a town hall at his foundation yesterday, he confessed to having 2 affairs with Russian women while married to his now very wealthy ex-wife, and admitted to flying on Epstein's plane and spending time with him in the U.S. and abroad. But he maintains he did nothing illicit.
Oh, I'm sure.
The billionaire said he...
Bro, everyone knows that when you lie, you have to sprinkle a little bit of truth into the lie. All right, that's how you lie. Because if you deny it completely, they'll end up catching you. So if you want to lie, you have to sprinkle a little bit of truth into there. Now, I personally don't advise it because I like to think of myself as a man of God. I try my best not to lie. But then again, like if you're in the elite billionaire pedophile class, I guess the man of God is not literally high on your list. Listen, man. If you eat children and sacrifice children to the Moloch, I imagine lying and fibbing is not high on your no-no list. So these guys, I imagine, want to sprinkle a little bit of truth. This guy's a little bit of truth is, I was good friends with Epstein. I did party with him. I went on his island. I literally had sex with Russian prostitutes. I cheated on my wife. Oh, but nothing illegal, though. Mm-hmm.
He met with Epstein starting in 2011, years after Epstein had pleaded guilty in 2008.
Bro, it's so over. Look, man, Jeffrey Epstein pled guilty in 2008 to soliciting a minor for prostitution. Anybody that went and tried to become close and homies and buddies with Jeff Ep after 2008 is probably a freak. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it there. You're probably a freak if you partied with Epstein after 2008.
And 8 to soliciting a minor.
Let me just remind you, Donald Trump did not. Donald Trump threw Epstein out of his house in 2005 and worked with the FBI in 2007 to get him arrested in 2008, by the way.
For prostitution. Gates said he was aware of some 18-month thing that had limited Epstein's travel, but said he didn't properly check his background.
Bro, I didn't realize my bestie was a pedophile. Oh, no, shot. A convicted one? Oh, my God.
And we're finding out U.S. Virgin Islands Democrat Governor Albert Bryan Jr. apparently gave Epstein special treatment just before his arrest. Oh, my. Helping Epstein with
a Democrat gave Epstein special treatment? I can't believe it. Wow, this is horrifying.
Construction problem he had on Pedophile Island. The global fallout continues. Prince Andrew was first. Yep. Now his ex-wife is keeping a low profile.
Oh, damn, I didn't know that.
Properties, even checking into one of the world's most expensive wellness clinics.
Bro, look at her face. God damn, she looks like someone that consumes copious amounts of adrenochrome.
Reports say she maintained contact with Epstein after his release from prison and even introduced him to her goddaughter.
No! She introduced the convicted pedophile to her goddaughter? What? Dude, these people are like actual crazy sickos.
The pressure on Andrew isn't going away. Whistleblowers now alleging he spent taxpayer money on massages. Earlier this month, Prince Andrew was kicked out of...
Oh, that's brutal. You might be able to get away with being a pedophile in England. I mean, they literally legalized that shit if you're of a specific religion. But tax evasion.
his home, the Royal Lodge, and he didn't take it too well. According to the Daily Mail, he shouted, "You can't do this to me. I'm the Queen's son." Remember, Andrew stepped back from royal duties in 2019. Why is he still living on royal property? The Times of London obtained a copy of his lease. Apparently, he hasn't paid rent in 2 decades.
Oh, my.
He's an international embarrassment. Pranksters hung the prince's arrest photo inside the Louvre.
Dude, they framed that image.
In Paris. The Epstein bomb is hitting every corner of the earth. Norway's former prime minister, you know, the one who awarded Obama the Nobel Peace Prize.
Stop.
Also known as, quote, Mr. Human Rights, was just charged with gross corruption.
Dude, it's honestly horrifying. If there wasn't like a child eating, sacrificing pedophile cult in the center of all this, it would be hilarious. That all of these virtue signaling human rights guys, Mr. Nobel Prize, had to step down because of the Epstein files. Are you kidding me?
They're investigating if he accepted gifts, travel, and loans from Epstein. He says he's innocent.
Sure.
But he's in the files, telling Epstein.
Oh, if Trump wins in U.S., I'll settle on your island. Diabolical. And by the way, this is an example of Trump being mentioned in the Epstein files. Oh my God, Trump is mentioned so many times in the Epstein files. Yes, yes. They were constantly talking about trying to make sure Trump didn't win the presidency.
Epstein this, if Trump wins, I'll settle on your island.
Oh.
And he just checked himself into a hospital due to the strain arising in the wake of this case.
All right, dude.
Maybe he could visit Fergie at that wellness hospital.
That's crazy.
Now the British government...
That's actually insane. I need to check myself in. I need to see a psychologist. I need to see a psychologist. They're accusing me of some pretty weird things.
Government is about...
Me and my friend Jeff, we were just fishing buddies.
...to unseal more documents tied to the former ambassador to the U.S., Peter Mandelson, who was arrested in the Epstein investigation.
That's right.
New emails appear to show Mandelson leaking sensitive information to Epstein.
I love how the Epstein files came out and it just literally devastated leftists across the Western world.
He also says he's innocent, but
I'm sure.
Here he is in the files.
Oh!
In his underwear.
Yeah, I actually covered this before in a previous video. So his thing was, he's like, I can't possibly be a pedophile. I'm gay. I couldn't have raped a kid. I'm literally gay. Fantastic response, Lord Mandelson.
Why do we know so little? Well, documents show that in July 2019, days after Epstein was arrested, the FBI told the NYPD's sex crimes unit to, quote, stand down.
Oh, boy.
Quote, FBI reached out to NYPD leadership already.
Yeah, I do think there's still some hella crazy corruption going on over there.
And they were told that SUV has been directed to stand down and that all Epstein stuff needs to go to and through us.
Dude, we need to drain the swamp, and I don't think Trump is doing it. I think he appointed people like Pam Bondi, and I think she is the swamp.
This was right after Epstein was arrested, as New York prosecutors were actively trying to interview victims, build cases, look at co-conspirators. Why cut him out right then? Was that standard procedure or something else? Plus, a 2020 DOJ email refers to a confidentiality agreement.
Oh my.
That the chief medical examiner signed in connection with the murder of Jeffrey Epstein.
Straight up calls it a murder. Oh my God.
His death was ruled a suicide. So why was the DOJ using murder internally? And why was the chief medical examiner being forced
Yeah, I think we all know why.
to sign an NDA after doing the autopsy? We may be about to learn even more. New reporting suggests Epstein may have stored documents in storage units across the U.S., potentially containing materials the public's never seen. And tomorrow, Hillary is scheduled to testify in a closed-door, recorded deposition.
That's right.
Friday, Bill's up.
Oh, man, Bill is going to be crazy. All right, I'm excited for that.